And no cowboy brew. That really
No,
makes
it's just kind of that's run its course.
All right. Well, at number 3, coach's guy, and by extension, maybe coach, C.J. Stroud. I mean, C.J., look, first let me start here, C.J. I do believe in you. I still do, but you are definitely having a sophomore slump, and that might be putting it kindly. Your numbers are down across the board, just about everything. All right, your numbers are down. You're not playing that well. Last year, you had a 100.8 passer rating. Only 3 of the 13 games this year have you even had a 100 passer rating in those games. And in the last 7, you haven't done it once. And 5 of those last 7 games, you were below 80 in your passer rating. But there is still hope. The hope is you guys still lead the AFC South. Look like you could win. You should win that division, get into the playoffs, and you play Wilds' Miami Dolphins this week. All right, it is always good. When you need a victory and you're a good team, it's great to see the Dolphins because the Dolphins have enough big names, Tua, Tyreek, even Mike McDaniel, and they win enough games where people really think they're good.
They're pretty good.
Case in point. But they only beat tomato cans. You guys aren't a tomato can. You're a good team. So you beat Miami and people say, oh, like Wilds, they beat the Dolphins. They've righted the ship. And you really beat a team that's not that good, but you get credit for beating a really good team. So, CJ, go out there, get everything straightened out this week against the Dolphins. I believe in you.
Okay. Okay. Houston Texans, CJ Stroud under duress. So the Texans, he kind of really leaned in on CJ Stroud and talking about his numbers down and this and that. And I really think CJ Stroud deserves a lot of the benefit of the doubt. He's had just an awful O-line. I mean, he's just been hit just non-stop. His weapons have been injured in and out of the lineup or just out of the lineup indefinitely, especially earlier on in the season, as well as the run game being inconsistent or injury, or dealing with injuries. And along with, I don't think Bobby Slowick has done a great job to help that storm at all. And I'm actually a Bobby Slowick fan, and that's why I'm still kind of trying to wrestle with how this season has unfolded. And so I'm always interested in other people's perspective when it comes to this type of thing. But I just think that to lump this all on CJ Stroud is not fair. And the fact that he's so young and early on in his career, you're asking him to overcome a lot. And it's just too much. This is his second season as a starting quarterback. I mean, like, he's got less starts than Mac Jones. So it's like you got to give it a second. And I think the problem is that he started off so hot to his career and obviously had such a great rookie year that they expected just to either to have him continue to get better and better and better or maintain that no matter what is going on situationally. And this has been far from an ideal situation. And to be fair, I thought it was a significantly better situation, but it clearly has not been. And then that starts to kind of bring down CJ Stroud. So now he's kind of not only is not having the support of his team in terms of like on the field, but then when it's time for him to kind of just have some of his own mistakes and kind of his own issues that are going to happen being a second year quarterback, those all compound and get magnified. And now it's like, oh my God, look at this throw that he's making. That was nowhere near the receiver. Oh my God. Like, look what he's doing. And it's like, it starts to just compound issues that would not necessarily be there. And you can see that he's not comfortable. He's not comfortable in the pocket. You can see that he doesn't have the trust that the protection is there. And I just think that that's a difficult thing to be able to overcome, especially with a young offensive coordinator, which is what I've also emphasized throughout this entire season, that when you have someone like a Bobby Slowick, like, even if he was great last year, dealing with his own sorts of issues of having a bad O-line and some injuries, like that is a process that he has to learn and grow as a coach as well, because he is in the developmental years of his career. So he's not going to be able to be super sharp. And that is the benefit of having a veteran presence, a veteran coach, whether head coach or a coordinator. It just matters. It really, really, really matters. And so I just can't put all of their failures on CJ Stroud. I just don't believe that that's fair, honestly. But I get why it's there, because going into this season, ending last season and then going into this season, the hype for CJ Stroud was real and warranted. MVP candidate, the Texans going to the Super Bowl or AFC Championship game. Like, there was high hopes going into the season. I kept comparing the Texans to the Eagles of 21 going into 22. That, like, they had this, pretty decent season in 2021, got out there, and then in the offseason going into 22, the Eagles made some moves. They went out and got A.J. Brown. Like, they were very strategic. They had Shane Steichen, let's go, and they go to the Super Bowl and are play away from winning it all. And the moves that the Texans made, I was like, this is what they're doing. They're smart. They got their quarterback. They're being aggressive. They're going out and getting digs, and they were able to construct that in a good way. And, like, they went out and got a running back. Like they made upgrades, and it was like, all right, they're ready for action. And it just never felt that way from the jump, honestly. There really, really wasn't. And I kept believing in this team, and I still do. But there is skepticism warranted because of how it's unfolded. But now that they had the bye, now that they had some time, now that they got some of their health back, yeah, this is a game that you want to see them play good. I would almost be better. I would rather see them play great and smooth and back to what we know that they're capable of doing and lose the game just because Tua balls out or whatever, than see them win a game where you're just like, oh my God, CJ Stroud got sacked 5 times. He threw an interception and so fumbled, and they can't get the passing game going. But they still won. It was a weird, ugly game, 17-10. Like, I would not feel good about that. I would much rather see this offense, especially more than anything, this offense humming, just where you really feel like it can do damage. For a long time, I can't remember the last game that you really felt like, all right, the Texans, they can do damage. And that's what they need to do. You need to have that feeling that they can do damage, because the name of their game isn't winning these ugly games. It's not the way. That's not how they're going to beat the Bills and the Chiefs. And I know it's possible, but I just see it more unlikely. I do. So I'm interested to see what they have coming out of this and what they're capable of doing. Honestly, I think there's definitely a lot to learn from this, and to a degree, like, I understand what Bruce's saying. He's kind of saying, the Dolphins trick people and believing that they're better than they are. So when you beat them, it feels like a bigger win than it actually is. I think that's both true and false, honestly. I think the Dolphins have actually played pretty well since Tua's returned, and obviously Tua's been playing great, and credit to him. So I don't think this isn't like beating a team that's been really bad and then they suddenly kind of strung together a couple good games, and you're like, oh, now people think that they're good when they're really not. Like, I do think the Dolphins' floor would be significantly higher, and they would be competing for a legitimate playoff spot, if not already have one locked, if Tua didn't go down. So this is not some scrub bootleg, you better roll them by 21 points or no, it's not good. So I don't think we have to pull down the Dolphins too much, honestly. But this is now sink or swim for the Texans. I still put this on the Texans and not so much on CJ Stroud individually. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about CJ Stroud being under duress, according to Chris Broussard? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.